The unseen strength of Clara Beaumont.
In the rolling hills of Willow Creek, where golden wheat fields swayed under the caress of a gentle breeze, Clara Beaumont lived a life that seemed ordinary to the untrained eye. Her small farmhouse, with its peeling white paint and creaking porch, stood at the edge of town, surrounded by endless acres of farmland she tended with unwavering dedication. At 32, Clara was a single mother to her 6-month-old daughter, Lily, whose giggles were the sweetest music in her world. To the townsfolk, Clara was just another farmer, her hands calloused from work, her days filled with the rhythm of planting and harvesting. But beneath her sun-faded overalls and quiet demeanor lay a secret. Clara Beaumont was the state attorney, a legal titan whose name sent shivers through the corridors of power.
Willow Creek was a sleepy town, its streets lined with mom-and-pop shops and its evenings filled with the hum of crickets. But beneath its quaint exterior, a storm was brewing.
A group of local developers, led by the cunning and ambitious Victor Grayson, had set their sights on Clara's land. The sprawling fields, rich with fertile soil, were the perfect site for a sprawling commercial complex, a project that promised wealth to those who controlled it. Victor, a man with slick-back hair and a smile that never reached his eyes, had a reputation for getting what he wanted, no matter the cost. Alongside him were his allies, Margaret Hale, a sharp-tongued real estate mogul, and Ethan Carver, a former councilman with a knack for bending rules.
They saw Clara as an easy target, a single mother with no one to protect her, vulnerable and isolated.
The trio began their campaign subtly. It started with whispers in the town square, rumors that Clara's farm was struggling, that she was in over her head.
A woman like her, alone with a baby?
She can't handle that land, Margaret would say, sipping coffee at the local diner, her voice loud enough for others to overhear.
Ethan, meanwhile, used his connections to push bureaucratic hurdles Clara's way, delayed permits, surprise inspections, and vague threats about rezoning.
Victor took a more direct approach, visiting Clara's farm one crisp autumn morning, his polished shoes sinking into the mud as he offered her a deal.
"Miss Beaumont," he said, his tone dripping with false charm, "this land is a burden. Sell it to us, and you'll have enough to start fresh. No more toiling in the dirt. Think of your daughter."
His eyes flicked to Lily, cradled in Clara's arms, her tiny hands clutching a rattle.
Clara's face remained calm, her hazel eyes steady.
"This land's been in my family for generations, Mr. Grayson. It's not for sale." Her voice was polite but firm, like the earth beneath her feet.
Victor's smile tightened. "Think it over. Opportunities like this don't come twice."
He left, but his words hung in the air like a warning.
The pressure escalated. Anonymous letters arrived, warning Clara too.
The golden hues of spring had settled over Willow Creek, painting the fields around Clara Beaumont's farmhouse in vibrant shades of green and amber. Her land, once the target of greedy developers, now thrived under her careful stewardship. Clara, at 33, balanced her life as a single mother to her now 1-year-old daughter, Lily, with her clandestine role as the state attorney. The townsfolk, having learned of her true identity after her triumph over Victor Grayson, Margaret Hale, and Ethan Carver, regarded her with a mix of awe and gratitude. Her farmhouse, once a symbol of isolation, had become a beacon of resilience, its porch adorned with flowers gifted by neighbors who now saw Clara as their protector. But peace in Willow Creek was fleeting. A new threat loomed, one more insidious than the last, driven by ambition and revenge. Clara's victory had rippled beyond the town, catching the attention of powerful figures who saw her as a dangerous obstacle. Among them was Roland Kessler, a wealthy industrialist with a sprawling empire of factories and real estate holdings across the state. Kessler, a man of sharp intellect and colder ambition, had ties to the same corrupt networks Clara had dismantled in her legal career. Her actions against Victor and his allies had disrupted Kessler's plans for a regional development scheme, costing him millions.
He wasn't one to forgive or forget. Kessler's approach was different from Victor's blunt tactics.
He operated in shadows, using influence and proxies to do his bidding. His right-hand woman, Sylvia Lang, a cunning strategist with a knack for manipulation, arrived in Willow Creek under the guise of a philanthropist. Sylvia, with her polished demeanor and designer dresses, charmed the townsfolk with promises of a community center funded by Kessler's foundation. "Willow Creek deserves progress," she'd say at town meetings, her smile disarming. But her true mission was to undermine Clara, to expose her vulnerabilities and force her to relinquish her land or her authority.
Clara sensed the shift in the air. Anonymous complaints began flooding the county office, questioning her farm's compliance with environmental regulations. Inspectors, tipped off by Sylvia's network, arrived unannounced, scrutinizing her irrigation systems and soil management.
Whispers spread that Clara was neglecting her duties as state attorney, that her focus on farming was a conflict of interest.
The pressure was subtle but relentless, designed to wear her down. Sylvia even approached Clara at the farmer's market, Lily giggling in her stroller, as Sylvia offered a veiled warning. "You've done so much for this town, Clara.
But holding on to everything, your farm, your title, your daughter, must be exhausting.
Maybe it's time to let go of something." Clara's hazel eyes met Sylvia's, unflinching.
"I manage just fine, Ms. Lang.
Thank you for your concern."
Her voice was calm, but her mind was already at work, piecing together the puzzle.